central heating is complex. So, British Gas Central Heating Care makes looking after it simple. Phone 0800 466 322 for unlimited call-outs all year round and parts and labour, with a yearly safety and performance check for £15 a month. So, if this ever happens, we'll take care of it. Phone 0800 466 322 and ask for Central Heating Care.
Incredible India.
Sushi rolls, faux fur throws, and that Swiss cheese with holes. That's amore.
Soft suede boots, seared scallops, cashmere tops, Belgian chucks. That's amore.
Moleskin jeans, fine champagne.
And Rioja from Spain.
That's amore.
Sexy lace lingerie that will lead him astray. That's amore.
And More is the new reward credit card from Marks & Spencer. Use And More everywhere and earn reward points to treat yourself at Marks & Spencer. And More, for more of the things you love.
They've had it all. Slap-up meal, wine. And now I'm going to give him one long night of hellish heartburn. He's not going to get a wink of sleep. No, not new Gavilast.
New Gavilast from Gaviscon, a small advanced tablet that helps put out the fire of hellish heartburn for up to 12 hours.
Gavilast! 12 hours? What am I going to do for 12 hours?
Say goodbye to self-doubt.
When I used to sing when I was little, I used to get told I couldn't sing.
We're going to make sure that you sing in front of an audience.
Low self-esteem.
When I look in the mirror, what I see, and I can't see people thinking, she looks nice in what she's wearing.
Apprehension and stress.
I'd rather die than go to hospital.
And say hello to the Life Guru.
It's like it's nothing. He is fantastic.
The Life Guru, weeknights at 8:30 over on Discovery Health.
It's the final day of the build, and our teams have just 12 hours to finish their upside-down cars, which should look a bit like this one. Today, the Greens are starting to fabricate a chassis frame in order to mount their Carlton body upside down. The Blues are working out how to mount their Metro onto their Astra chassis. And the Reds are still stripping their Metro to mount onto the Sherpa chassis.
We've got to make a chassis. We've got to get everything square and true, because if we're not square, we'll be going up the road crabwise. So we've tacked these narrow bits into place just to hold it, make it all square. Soon we'll get the bigger bits of steel on and start to build up a frame.
The electrics are still a bit of a problem, so obviously we've got to get first things first. One thing about the electrics isn't going to get us anywhere if we haven't got a body and a chassis to put it with.
The cars have to be exactly 63 inches high, so the wheels on the roof will touch the upside-down road surface of our surprise obstacle.
Should we do some accurate measuring, or should we just bodge it like we normally do? Bodge it.
Now, Rachel, where are we at with the blue team?
Well, they're very confident at the moment, but I think they've still got a long way to go.
What problems have they got?
They've still got to weld the upside-down car in and check the height of the thing as well.
That top bolt is the floor level, the roof level, the floor level. I don't know, all this upside-down stuff.
Can they win?
Yeah, they've got a good chance.
What about these jokers in the red team? They've done all the basics. What have they got to do now?
They've still got to weld the upside-down car onto the chassis. Now, they're not too good at welding, so that may take longer than they think if they run into problems.
So the key things they've got to do now are all reliant upon the skills which they might not have got, yeah?
Yeah, but they'll somehow tack it together, I'm sure.
Perhaps an hour's practice of welding might have been a good idea.
That bit's gone a little bit wrong, so what I was going to try and do is...
We'll grind it down. grind it.
Now, what about the greens?
What can I say? The proper hardcore engineers, they're fabricating their own chassis there. It's looking quite tricky at the moment, but we're just running out of time.
I think we want to move it about... I'm going to move the jack as well, about 10 mil max.
Which way? Forward?
Forward.
Yep.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
But you've got to admire them, haven't you? I mean, look at them there. They've just...
Not really.
In a car right in front of your eyes, man. You should be well impressed.
Right,
I am.
Calm down, mate. I've told you a couple of times, yeah.
But as long as these aren't moving, then we're laughing.
I've got to go and pay the blokes we nicked the metal off on Saturday. Got to go and get some wheels changed, the tyres changed on the wheels. Go and get our thing and the paint. We're making up the front suspension mounts. Got to allow this box section here is going to sit just above the engine. We're trying to work out the distance between that and the top of the spring to allow the maximum suspension travel, because obviously when we land, we want as much damping and movement here as possible.
We're hopefully going to get the body on top of here, probably within the next couple of hours.
Travelling upside down is Matt Coulter's day job. He's constructed a unique rollover racer.
I'd love to see him get around that course on that.
Certainly haven't seen anything like that before. It's a bit bizarre, isn't it?
Hey! Matt, how you doing?
All right, mate.
Now, the question on everyone's lips, Matt, is why?
Well, why not? And it's good fun, and that's what it's all about.
So we can safely say that this is the only rollover quad in the entire world.
It is the only rollover quad in the entire world.
Now, Matt, give me the exact technical spec on it.
Well, the cage is made of a scaffold pole. It's a 7.5 feet diameter cage. The quad is a Polaris 325cc four-stroke single-cylinder machine. It's got individual disc brakes on the front and a single disc brake for the rear. And I've got 2 seat belts, bit of a backup, make sure one don't come undone and I fall out.
And what's the technique behind it?
The technique is just tear along, obviously strapped in nicely, tear along and slam the front brake off, and then just feather it a little bit, and then you can just roll over.
You're not nervous at all?
Yeah, I do get nervous, but that keeps you alive. If you're nervous, you can look into what can go wrong and hopefully rectify it before it happens, right? If you're not nervous and you've got like the bravado, no fear and all that sort of stuff, you'll just jump into something without even thinking, and that's when you can get killed.
I think, Matt, you're operating on a much higher level than most people.
Oh, I don't. That's because I'm taller.
Back at the hangar, work continues.
Because we're struggling with height, at the moment that Sherpa chassis stands 60 mils off the floor. No, sorry, 60 centimetres off the floor. So we've only then got a metre for this thing to fit into, so we're going to see how low we can get those wheels, and then we're going to think about what where we're going to find the rest where we're going to reduce the rest of the height from, probably the roof. But
of late, the other teams have tried to slow down a little bit. They were pretty much ahead in the beginning, but all of a sudden they seem to have come to a bit of a standstill, and we seem to have been surging near the end, and I think we're coming into catch-up now.
We only really need the tyres to just be above here, just to clear this, so that when we put it back onto its the other way up, we can push it and it doesn't really matter. None of it really matters anymore. Too tired.
You know that Piers from Red Team?
Oh, yeah.
I was chatting to him last night, and he thinks you lot look a bit thick.
I suppose they're the complete opposite to us, really, aren't they?
In what way?
Well-educated, theorists.
For them, it's just a game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who would you most like to beat? The Red Team after what they said?
I'd most like to beat the Reds, yeah.
Dave is back from shopping with paint and some new tyres.
Some very high visible green.
Which team would you most like to beat?
The Blues.
Why's that?
Just a bunch of grease monkeys.
Have Blues lowered the Astra too much for their new tyres to fit?
This is the big tester. Is it going to foul, or is it not going to foul? It's not going to foul.
Andy is shortening the Sherpa chassis.
Andy's maybe getting a bit stressed.
Basically just chopping the chassis to try and shorten it. We shortened the prop shaft earlier. I'm trying to shorten it so that the whole car is shorter and we'll go over the bumps more easily and we'll turn more easily. So we're taking out about that much of the chassis, shortening it down. So we've got to cut, and then re-weld.
Linda's putting the finishing touches to the suspension now.
So once that's done, then we can start looking at cutting a hole in the roof to clear the engine, and then we get the body on.
Poor old Greens. The more they seem to work, the more problems they seem to have. Their engine is still a mess of wires and the chassis is far from finished.
More haste, less speed.
Boffey Reds are another strange team. The more they